Hello, Facebook.
Hi. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Meredith and Boo page with our weekly live on Facebook at Thursdays at 12 o'clock.
Every Thursday. So, guys, let's get started. In this week's YouTube video on the Meredith Callagher Show, which, by the way, if you missed, we're going to put the link below, we talked about, and by we, I really mean Meredith, talked about how to convert your followers to patients right there within Instagram.
Yep.
And really, if you think about it, and if you watch the video, really what it comes down to is sales. Every single day I talk to people who say they hate selling. I don't think that I was born a natural salesperson at all. I don't think that there's some gene that we are born with that just makes us good at sales. Nobody likes to walk up to people and say, hey, will you give me money for something? Or really, will you give me anything? Except maybe gum. But really, nobody just is born loving it. So it's really important to kind of, tell yourself that and say, I'm not any different from anybody else. It's just a matter of figuring out what to do and how to do it. The thing about sales is that it's critically important to be a good salesperson, really almost no matter what industry you're in. If you think about it, if you're a lawyer, if you want to become a partner and stay a partner and succeed as a partner, you need to bring in new business. That is sales. If you own a marketing agency, you need to bring in new clients. That is sales. If you are a doctor, you need to bring in new patients, and that is sales. So it's important really in almost any industry that you can think of. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. And it's funny, I've talked to quite a few. I'm thinking of one therapist friend who said she thought she just would graduate from her master's program and hang her shingle and the patients would come. And of course that didn't happen. You all know that doesn't happen. And
they're not teaching you that in medical school.
Right. So you guys, the good news is that most doctors we talk to really believe in the protocols that they offer. So that's one step down.
You're a good doctor, and if you don't think you're a good doctor, you're going to work to do better and be a better doctor.
Right. So that's awesome because sometimes people are asked to sell things they don't believe in, which makes it really hard. But we know that you believe in your protocol, and most doctors, thank goodness, really want their patients to both be healthier and be living their best life. And so that is honestly, that mindset that you get to start with as a doctor gets you like 70% of the way there, which is great. But there's still a lot of you, not just a few, so don't worry, you're all in the same boat, honestly. There's still a lot of you that just still aren't comfortable with selling. And you know why? Fear. Mm-hmm. And it happens to everybody. You just had a conversation recently.
Just this week, I was talking to a friend of mine who's an interior designer, so she's probably not on this live. Actually, she's not because she's an interior designer. And she told me, she said, I don't like to promote myself a lot or push myself out there or ask people to become my client because I'm shy. And I looked at her and I said, shyness, that's fear.
Right.
That's fear. There's all different ways to define it, but fear is fear. And we believe that one of the best ways to deal with fear is to take action. And the best way to take action is to have a strategy because
hope is not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy. So what we did was we came up with 8 sales strategies that will help you change your practice. If you put those in place, these are great ways to take action and they really will make a difference. You're probably already doing some of these.
Here we go. We're going to our fancy.
Okay, yeah, we have this fancy new. This is exciting.
It's working. Do you see us in the dot?
Okay, guys. So the first thing is know your audience. Always, always, always know exactly who you're talking to before you even think about talking to them at all. And this is like sales 101, the very first most important thing. You need to know who you're talking to before you can just guess and figure out how to talk to them.
And we talked about this. That might seem obvious. It's whoever you're going to care for, but not exactly like we want you to go even deeper and think about who's making the appointment for that person, and then what are that appointment maker's fears. We call what interest does that person have?
Right. I mean, what questions are they asking when they come? Whether it's their child or their aging parent, or they're representing somebody who might have a disability. Whatever it is, it's not always necessarily the patient. So whoever it is who is either the patient or the advocate, what questions are they asking?
Right.
What concerns do they have? That is who you're talking to. That's how you're going to grow your practice.
Exactly.
So the second thing, number 2, is do your research. Excuse me, your research. You don't have to know every single thing about every single thing. And if you don't know every single thing about every single thing, then you can't sell. It's not like that. But you just need to know enough to be dangerous. You need to know what you're talking about before you try to sell them on something, about whatever it is you're selling. You know, some of our doctors that we work with are dermatologists and they sell skincare products. You know, it's not always only your services as a doctor. So, and number 3, you are not annoying anyone. We hear this too. We hear people say, well, gosh, I don't really want to push myself in their faces. I don't want to annoy them. It is not annoying.
You can kind of think of it as you're helping them. I mean, you could change your mindset and think you're bringing the value to them. So if you take action to be even, I hate to use the word aggressive because it might scare you off, but an aggressive seller will really benefit your patient. You've saved them or the appointment maker because you've saved them the time from having to go research. You sought them out and you found them.
Yeah, and you know that the reason you're there is to make their life better. You know that is your end goal. And you knowing that when you're talking to them, they feel that.
For sure.
And that's how they're going to respond. So, number 4, have confidence. Yes, you have peers, and you can call them your competitors, whatever you call them. There are other doctors in your specialty who do exactly what you do, but that doesn't mean that they do it better. And you know that. You know that you do what you do the very best that you can do it. And you need to have that conviction going in to any kind of sale.
It's important in all sales because you've seen it before. You can smell non-confidence coming a mile away, right? And it makes the receiver of your pitch very uncomfortable if you're not confident.
They sense it.
Yeah. So you got to give yourself a pep talk. You know, sometimes Boo and I do a little dance party, but to get our blood flowing and to have fun and to feel good and to be confident before we make a pitch.
Totally. Absolutely.
Okay. Number 5 is be you. And in sales, what you're selling is really you, the doctor, not just your protocols, but the whole package. We've seen this happen with private practices. The practice doesn't sell. Your location doesn't. Maybe in Miami a little bit because we have traffic. Your location, but really, what makes the difference in your patient coming to your office or your next door neighbors is you. And so we almost want you to lead with that. Yet we want you to understand what your patient wants, but you don't have to go too in depth on all the protocols. I really want you to sell yourself. What makes you different? When if when people come to your office, you are very welcoming and you make it very fun. Maybe you make it more like a party. Sell that, and it might not be attractive to everybody, but you can't worry about that. To attract the right patients, you've got to repel some patients.
I think that you should tell them about your doctor friend.
Yeah. So one of the guys that I went to college with, he is now an orthodontist in Houston, and he loves 80s metal bands. Yeah,
like my husband.
Metallica. Is Def Leppard a metal band?
Yes,
yeah.
They're considered one of the hair bands.
In fact, Brad was just posting about some guitar he purchased on eBay. Is there a band called Slaughterhouse?
I think so, but that's hardcore. That's like the big stuff.
I mean, he posted it on some Facebook maybe and tagged the band, and one of the original band members said it was his at one point.
Wow.
And anyway, he uses that in his dental office and in his orthodontic office, and it's all about hair bands, and
that's so fun.
Rock out. There's posters, and I've got 3 kids and braces right now, and that might not be for my 8th grade daughter, but my son, he could get into that. And if I thought he was going to have fun at the orthodontist, then I might pick that.
Well, and even if your kids aren't into 80s music and the orthodontist is posting that, and the truth is what he's doing is he's sharing his personality with you. He's getting personal, and that personal connection is what we talk about all the time when it comes to social media. Amy Porterfield, who we love and we follow her, she's our mentor, I would say. She talks about content with heart. And that's what that is, getting personal and sharing a piece of who you are. And if kids aren't connecting to the 80s music, that's okay. They're connecting with a doctor who's personal.
Oh, that's true.
Don't you think?
I totally agree. Yeah. So and I was thinking about, too, when we were getting ready for this Facebook Live, that And I'm sure you guys see that. A lot of times, your patients, they could be super fearful for their need of the protocol that you offer. And I think that's one of my points coming up. But you might be able to convince them to come and get your services with your personality and your warm heart. And Boo, you're right. I was probably going down the wrong road with that. Just showing that you can be vulnerable and sharing that you love 80s music, or that, I don't know, that you like to stitch.
You
or
love dogs or whatever.
Right. That could endear a patient enough to come in and try the protocol that's big, bad, and scary.
Right.
You know?
And obviously you don't want to be too silly so that people are like, well, I don't want to go to this guy who's more focused on his, 80s music than he is on. No. You're a serious doctor and you're there to help your patients, but you're also a human being.
Right.
And they don't want to feel like they're going to a robot. They want to feel like they can make a connection.
Mm-hmm. And it'll make your sales so easy.
We just made number 5 really long, but that's okay.
That's okay. All right. Well, speaking of long, selling takes time. Selling takes time. And that's a rule in all of sales, that selling is about relationships. So often you have to be introduced to a potential patient, nurture a relationship, or introduced to a potential buyer, nurture the relationship, and then the sale happens. And when in that nurture period, you're developing know, like, and trust. So as it applies to making sales through social media, which is what the YouTube video was about, I asked you on Tuesday's video I do want you to make the sale on every point that you can in social media, but just know that it's probably not going to happen. In fact, it's probably not going to happen the first time that a person sees that. Yeah. But because you're going to make sure that ask is always there. So if someone is ready to buy, they know exactly how to buy from you. But in the meantime, you're going to be nurturing that relationship with that potential patient and building know, like, and trust, which is actually why we really love Instagram, because it's a great tool for know, like, and trust.
Yeah, you're posting content with heart.
Yeah,
which builds that rapport, that know, like, and trust. Make an appointment here.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you just have to make sure you've got the ask in place.
Always keep that call to action.
And then it will happen. Maybe not today, maybe 2 months from now. And what Boo and I are seeing that for sure with you guys, like slowly, even today, people are slowly starting to reach out that we introduced ourselves to several months ago, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The next selling advice we have is listen first, contribute second, sell third. And I learned this. I used to sell advertising. I just released a magazine that I owned. And so I learned what worked to sell a locally owned business, an advertisement, was to go in and just listen. I would ask one question, how do you find customers right now? And they would start to talk, and then I'd ask them, well, what works for you? What doesn't work for you? And when they ran out of things to say, I would then fill in with basically my pitch, but I didn't use all of it. I used what I applied to what they had just told me. I fed in what the part of my pitch that applied to what they said. And so I think you guys can do that too. I mean, if you are at a face-to-face with someone, and I'm going to tell you how this works on social media, but if you're face-to-face with someone, you ask them first, what's going on with you? Or if you're a gut doctor,
gastro.
Sure, yes, gut. I was with my friend Carolina that talks about the gut all the time yesterday. She's a health coach. Anyway, if you're a gastro and you would listen to their ailments, what's bothering them, what part of their gut, is it pains, is it what's going on, and then you would introduce your protocol, the one you think they might need. Or maybe you hear them say that they're super scared of doctors, and so you don't go protocol talk at all. You go straight to why they'd be comfortable with your office, right? So
and with that, one of the things we tell our doctors is don't be scared to give away information, valuable information. Don't think, well, I just gave them everything they need, now they don't need me. That is not true. Right. Give away information. Obviously, you're not going to try to diagnose somebody or do anything crazy like that, but you can give them statistics and facts and general information that is very, very valuable, and it only makes them know, like, and trust you more.
Exactly. And so on social media, because that's what we were talking about selling on this week on YouTube, you can listen to your potential sales on social media. And the way you do that is with engagement. And on Instagram specifically, you can see the comments that you're getting. But we want you to ask for feedback. So you ask them in your posts, how do you feel today? Or is anybody having gut problems? And sometimes I say, like, let me see a show of hands. Give a smiley face emoji below if your stomach hurts today. I don't know. I just made that up. But you could. Something like really easy. You could start with little questions like that. You could suggest that people use, you could ask with the question box on Instagram stories. So that's how you listen on social media. You hear them, hear what they're asking for, and then you deliver that information in your next social media content, right? In your next posts.
Keeps them coming back.
Yeah. Okay. The last one that we wanted to go over is you can change their thoughts. You hear sometimes people say, everybody always has their mind made up. I can't talk, I don't know, a mom into to like breastfeeding if she only believes in
right, or I can't talk her into switching to me from her other pediatric dentist. How do you know that she's so in love with her pediatric dentist that she's not going to switch to you if you're a pediatric dentist?
Yeah.
How do you know?
This one's just, we just want you to believe, this kind of goes with confidence, I guess, but if that's a myth that is a line in your head, a thought in your head, people don't change their minds, then just, you got to get rid of it. Start working.
And I'll tell you, as a patient and as an advocate for my children, I have changed my mind and gone and switched doctors because I made a personal connection with one that wasn't the one we were going to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think a lot of people can say that at some point in their life they've switched to a different doctor because somebody else made a better connection. Mm-hmm. That does work. Yeah, their minds are not made up.
So, so let's see. So you guys, you've got this. One. Yes. Yeah.
Go do it.
You've got this for sure. So we want you to go and slay it. I want to switch off the slides. Hold on. This is our first week to use the slides. So give me
Meredith always has fancy new app, cool new software, a new gadget, a new apparatus, something new to play with.
Yay. Okay.
In
there
her
we
spare
go.
time.
Right.
This one's cool. I love it. They're always cool.
Yeah. And look, this is what I wanted to see. If anybody has any, now I can see the comments. So we have this fancy new software, and I know if you have any questions about selling, Boo and I do have a lot of experience with sales. We'd love to talk to you about that. And just go for it. Start small. If you just decide you're going to try something today, just do it. And you can try something different tomorrow if you didn't like how that felt.
And let us know. Let us know how it goes. Mm-hmm. Come back and post in this page, in this Facebook group, because your peers are going to want to know too.
So thanks for joining us, you guys, and have a great weekend.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.